you like this image, beyond our talk today is beyond right and wrong. But here's the image of the book that we're going to be exploring. So why this book? Because it beautifully encapsulates some profound spiritual concepts, offering timeless wisdom that resonate very deeply with our Unity teachings. And how did I come across this book? Well, last year at the Tempe Tadeada, which is coming up next week, which we don't have a stall at this year, but maybe next year, I was there very briefly, and Gail was there with me. And as you know, I love to look through the books. And Gail pointed out this book. And so I got it. It is a wonderful, wonderful book. And we've already started on this, and we don't need to. Why have we gone ahead to the video? So we'll go back to, yes, we don't need to start on that yet. So anyways, this is yes, it is a children's book, but you know what? It really is not. Because it is a wonderful fable that is far more suited to adults than to children. And you will see why. Now, I found a wonderful video of someone reading it. So you can sit back, you can relax. I don't have any popcorn, but there are snacks back there. It's a few minutes long, maybe about 5. So I hope you enjoy this reading.
Good morning, everyone. Today, we are exploring the origins of stories and some truly beautiful storytelling with the Goms. And I wanted to share one of my favorite stories of origin. And this is by Douglas Wood and illustrated by Cheng-Ki Chi. This is Old Turtle. Once, long, long ago, yet somehow not so very long ago, when all the animals and rocks and winds and waters and trees and birds and fish and all the living beings of the world could speak and understand each other, there began an argument. It began softly at first, quiet as the first breeze that whispered, "He is a wind who is never still." Quiet as the stone that answered, "He's a great rock that never moves." And gentle as the mountain that rumbled, "God is a snowy peak high above the clouds." And the fish in the ocean that answered, "God is a swimmer in the dark blue depths of the sea." "No," said the star, "God is a twinkling and shining far, far away." "No," replied the ant, "God is a sound and smell and a feeling who is very, very close." "God," said the antelope, "is a runner swift and free, who loves to leap and race in the wind." "She is a great tree," murmured the willow, "a part of the world always growing and always giving." "You are wrong," argued the island. "God is separate and apart." "No, he is a river who flows through the very heart of things," thundered the waterfall. "She is a hunter," roared the lion. "They are powerful," growled the bear. And the argument grew louder and louder and louder until stop! A new voice spoke. It rumbled loudly like thunder, and it whispered softly like a butterfly sneezes. The voice seemed to come from, it seemed to come from Old Turtle. Now, Old Turtle hardly ever said anything and certainly never argued about things like God, but now Old Turtle began to speak. "God is indeed deep," she said to the fish in the sea, "and much higher than high," she told the mountains. "He is swift and free as the wind, and still and solid as a great rock," she said to the breezes and stones. "She is the life of the world," Turtle said to the willow. "Always close by, yet beyond the farthest twinkling light," she told the ant and the star. "God is gentle and powerful above all things and within all things." "God is all that we dream of and all that we seek," said Old Turtle, "and all that we come from and all we can find. God is." Old Turtle had never said so much before. All the beings of the world were surprised and became very quiet. But Old Turtle had one more thing to say. "There will soon be a new family of beings in the world," she said, "and they will be strange and wonderful. They will be reminders of all that God is. They will come in many colors and shapes, with different faces and different ways of speaking. They will be strong yet tender, the message of love from God to the earth and a prayer from the earth back to God. And the people came. But oh, the people forgot. They forgot that they were a message of love and a prayer from the earth, and they began to argue about who knew God and who did not, and where God was and was not, and whether God was or was not. And often people misused their powers and hurt one another and killed one another, and they hurt the earth until finally even the forests began to die, and the rivers and the oceans and the plants and the animals and the earth itself, because the people could not remember who they were or where God was. Until one day, there came a voice, like the growling of thunder, but soft as butterfly sneezes. Please stop. The voice seemed to come from the mountain, who rumbled, sometimes I see God swimming, and the dark blue depths of the sea, and from the ocean, who sighed, he is often among the snow-capped peaks reflecting the sun. And from the breeze, who whispered, I still feel her presence as I dance among the rocks. And the island that said, their love touches everything. And after a long, lonesome, and scary time, the people listened and began to hear and see God in one another and in the beauty of all the earth. And Old Turtle smiled, and so did God.
Has anyone heard that story before? Oh, I'm so glad. And Gail, you picked it out. Yeah, Gail. Let's give Gail. I've been waiting to share. I wish there were tons of people here today, but it's okay because it will be on video. But anyways, let's go back. So you liked it, and I'm very glad. And it has a lot of Unity themes in it. Did you pick them out? Yes. So let's dive into this and explore it in a deeper way. So at the start of the story, all the beings and all the elements of the world could speak and understand each other. And that reflects the interconnectedness of life and also the oneness of all of creation. But after the initial understanding, what happens? What arises? An argument. And the elements, the plants, the animals, the water, the land, each assert that the nature of God is only like themselves and not like any of the others. And some people refer to God as he and some as she, and some say God is separate and far away and apart, and others say that God flows through all things. And does this sound like anything we have ever heard? What a mirror of humanity. What a mirror of our current world and our experience in the US, where many argue that their idea of God is the only right way, that any other way is a surefire way to damnation, and they do their best, their utmost best, to impose their limiting beliefs on others. Now, there's a quote that you may be very familiar with or not, and it is by the 13th century Persian poet, theologian, and Sufi mystic, Rumi. Let's say it together. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there. So Rumi believed that life is a journey toward union with the universe and with the divine, which is achieved through love and the realization of oneness, something that's so big to us in Unity. And he emphasized that God is not confined to religious institutions, but is present in all aspects of the universe. You get why I showed the beginning song now, right? All about the universe, seeing God in nature. And this, of course, aligns beautifully with our Unity teachings on the emphasis of the interconnectedness of all life. And Rumi invites us to transcend the dualities of right and wrong. That can be really hard, can't it? And find a space of unity and understanding, suggesting that beyond our judgments and divisions, there is a place where we can connect on a deeper, more spiritual level. A metaphorical space in this beautiful field without the barriers of our preconceived notions. And as we meet in this beautiful field beyond right and wrong, we acknowledge our shared humanity, our divine essence, and foster a sense of unity, which is what we so want in the world, right? And we certainly could use that in the world right now. Now, there are hundreds, perhaps thousands of names for God. And we may call God the Infinite One by many different names. We may say Mother, Father, God. We may say Spirit. We may say Divine Indwelling Presence. We may say the Universe or any other number of things. But that is all fine as long as we remember that this presence is both immanent and transcendent, present in all things and beyond all things, including gender and personification. Although sometimes we like to personify God as male or female or both or gender, we do. Or as a cat or whatever we like to personify God as in that moment that feels comforting to us. But what initially attracted many of us to Unity was the inclusive approach that we have in spirituality and respect for the diverse ways that people experience and understand the divine. And the emphasis that all paths, as long as they are not hurting themselves, as long as if we're following a path and it's not hurting ourselves or others in body, mind, or spirit, that they can lead to a greater understanding of God. God is not limited to any one religious path, but present in all aspects of life. Now we're going to move on to Old Turtle. Did you like Old Turtle? And you might know already what song is coming at the closing before our superpower thing. You've already got it in your mind. But this is the title character of the story. And Old Turtle speaks to the animals and to the elements and to the environment of the interconnectedness of God in all, reminding them that God is. Did you hear that? God is, he says. And we often say in Unity and in New Thought, let's say it together, God is, I am, which reminds us that all that God is, we are a little element, we are a little essence of that, a little essence of that divine within us. And we often say that God is male and female both. And interestingly, did you catch Old Turtle is described as she? She, yes, kind of another experience of the divine, I think, in the Old Turtle. And her power of wisdom, that's what she is embodying in the story. And we access our innate wisdom in a lot of ways, don't we? How are some of the ways that we access the power of wisdom? Well, through meditation, right? Through mindfulness, through contemplation, through prayer, through silence, through stillness, and through also focused breathing. And accessing the power of our inner wisdom supports us in staying grounded, finding peace and unity amid chaos, even in a contentious election season. Old Turtle describes a new family of beings. What is that family of beings? It's humanity. And that says they will arrive soon, reminders of all that God is. And she says they will be diverse in every way. They'll have different colors and different languages and different ways of being. And they will possess many powers and be a message of love from God to the earth and a prayer from the earth back to God. And in the story, the people arrive, and what did they do? They began arguing. And what did they begin arguing about? About God. They began to argue because they forgot that they were a message of love and a prayer from the earth. And so they argue about who's right, who's wrong, whose God is better, whose God is not right. And they misused their powers and harmed one another, the animals and the earth, and they almost destroyed it. Wow. This book was written in 1992. Sound familiar today? The earth begins to die, and still the people could not see. They could not remember who they were or who God was. So from a spiritual perspective, when we get down to the root of all divisions and conflicts, we discover that it is usually because of a lack of understanding and respect for our interconnectedness and our oneness. We are expressions of divine love and have a responsibility to live in harmony with each other and the earth. Forgetfulness of our God essence and misuse of our power reflect a disconnection from our true nature. Each time we choose to practice kindness and live more harmoniously by engaging in environmental stewardship, by reducing waste, conserving resources, supporting environmental causes, advocating for social justice and inclusivity, our actions are living expressions of divine love. You, beloveds, are expressions of divine love. And so affirm with me, I am an expression of divine love. Again, I am an expression of divine love. And now this part. I reveal my divine nature each time I act from a place of love, leading by example to encourage others to do the same. So now we're going to explore the voice of the earth and the shift. In the story, a voice eventually calls to all the beings who cannot remember who they are. And what does this voice simply say? Please stop. Haven't we felt like that at times, just whispering that out, shouting it out, screaming it out to the world? Please stop. And the voice from the mountains, oceans, and breezes reminds people that God is everywhere and that love touches everything. The shift happens as the different elements and parts of the earth see God in each other. After a long and scary time, the people listen and begin to hear and see God in one another and in the beauty of the earth. And what does this represent? A waking up from the illusion of separation and division, a return to understanding and oneness. So in this story, as on earth, people misused their powers. We talk a lot in Unity about our 12 powers. And they do that until what? When do they stop misusing their powers? When they wake up and remember who they are, right? When they remember that they're all connected, then they stop. So what can we do? Well, we can live from a place of, when we live from a place and a space of oneness, truly live from that place, we embody a deep sense of compassion and empathy. As we practice seeing the divine in everyone and everything, we contribute to more connectedness and oneness. But here's the challenge, right? It may be challenging when things in the world seem out of balance and out of our control to see the divine in everyone. And that is why continuing to work on our own consciousness daily, remembering who we are, is so vitally important. Would you agree with that? Yeah, it is. And remember that it's not by that it is by recognizing the divine in everyone and everything that we can heal and transform our world. And it's easy to say here on Sundays, I recognize the divine in everyone and everything. We leave, we're out in the world, we turn on the news, we get an alert on our phone, and we're like, yeah, maybe not in that person. Correct? But take heart, because we're not alone in this endeavor, and we are stronger together. Each time we gather in collective prayer and action, like being here on Sundays, we strengthen our resolve, we strengthen our endeavor to see that in everyone. And we might do it on our prayer call, or by reaching out to one another and saying, blah, 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 blah. Oh my goodness, wait, let me remember who I really am and why I am really here. And every time we do that and have that willingness, we become part of the great shift. And each time we shift our consciousness 1 degree, 1/2 of a degree, one tiny iota of a degree, towards love. Each time we turn to what we can control. Dennis did a wonderful talk a few weeks ago on the prayer of Serenity Prayer. What we can control, what we can't control. Each time we do that and we find peace within to navigate external chaos, our actions can create positive change. So let's not be misusers of our power, because we have 12 of them at least. Wonderful, amazing powers. But let us be messengers of love. Love from the God within to the earth, and let us align with a prayer from the earth back to God. Old Turtle's wisdom reminds us that we are all expressions of divine love, interconnected and part of a greater whole. And so as we go forward, may we be mindful of our responsibility to live in harmony with each other, not just here on Sundays, but all the other others, and with the earth, recognizing that our actions are expressions of divine love. So I want to thank you. May have been challenging to get here today, but you did it. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your dedication and your commitment to living these principles. And so to anchor today's message, there's a wonderful song by the incomparable Faith Rivera.
Child of this universe, the ocean dances at my feet. The wind plays a melody through my hair. I am loved at every turn. I am kissed by Mother. Of this universe, the sun warms me in its embrace. The stars have a light for me in the sky. I am honored by tongue sings of the glory of God moving through me, moving through you. Oh. I am a child of this universe. Through my breath, all of life can breathe. I plant the seeds with my every dream. I can love at every turn. Give a kiss to Mother Earth. Yes, I am a child of this universe. I greet the God in each face. I am the channel for peace to flow. Oh, I honor all life. Yes, I'm one with Father Time. To every blade of grass, to every shaking leaf on the tree, to every mountain top, I sing of the glory of God moving through. Moving as me. Moving as you. Moving as me. Is all.
I was struck by the lotus blossom, the image of the lotus blossom in there. Remember the message about how the lotus blossom survives and thrives in muddy conditions. So I'm thinking of doing a series on something about, not political, you know I'm not political, but about surviving and thriving during this season, the next few weeks. I might do something about tools, I'm not sure yet. But remember the lotus blossom. You are a lotus. You are a beautiful lotus. You thrive and you share your love and your beauty even in this time. So I want you to say with me before we go to the next thing, I am a lotus blossom. 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 And now, if something gets your goat, and I don't mean greatest of all time, if something gets your goat in the next week, you're watching the news, you're watching something, you're talking to someone, remember and breathe in silently to yourself, I am a lotus blossom. And remember the wisdom of Old Turtle. All right, beloveds, because I need to hear that too. Okay. Oh, we're children of the universe. And so let us say together, I am a beloved child of God, here to be an ambassador of good and a lotus blossom. And so it is time to share of our gifts. We're so grateful. You can also do so on Zelle and PayPal. I'll put that up in just a moment. We're so grateful for your gifts. This is the end of the month today, so we're grateful. We would not be here without your donations. We have to have donations as a church to survive. So we're very grateful because we are supported by those. So thank you, thank you, thank you for giving generously. Take your gift to your heart and feel it being blessed and more coming to you. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. Oh, we didn't say it. I am a joyful sharer of my good. I remember that as I give, I receive, and that God is my source. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Kent. And so we affirm that these gifts, we bless the giver and the receiver and the stewardship of their use in every single prayer that is in the prayer box. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Kent. Knitting and crocheting group. Oh my goodness. It's going to be on the 1st and the 3rd Sunday. So is it beginning next week? It's beginning next week. It's after service. So knitters and crocheters, even if you're like, I want to learn to knit and I want to learn to crochet, you know where you can do it. You can bring a snack. If you want to, you can bring snacks to share, or you can just bring your own lunch. That's absolutely fine. And it will be right here. Oh, Dennis is bringing snacks. Oh, wow. So maybe he'll have a sign-up list for people to bring in the future. But we're really excited about this. So come join the knitting group. And this may be changing very soon. I need to talk to a couple of people, but be sure to, if you'd like to connect on our Zoom and Connect call, Thursdays at 10 a.m. But that, again, that day may be changing very soon. Thank you for bringing in food. We bless this food to all the people that it will be going to. And thank you to those who brought in food and donations today. Yes, you're important. We miss you when you're not here. As you can tell, we miss you when you're not here. And so, beloveds, who can you think of that really could use a place that reminds them, that cherishes them and loves them? Invite them to be with us on a Sunday. But know that you are important, you matter, you make a difference. So let us affirm together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. All is well, and we are grateful. Beloveds online, have a wonderful week, and we hope we see you very, very soon.